We haven't talked much about Lucid on this channel before because I guess I prefer talking about like things actually getting done in mass production and not so much vehicle prototypes and to expect them in the next 3 to 5 years. I kind of get sick of that. I like seeing results. I like seeing production numbers, and Lucid is getting really close to that, which is why I'm very excited to talk about them today, because recently they announced that their first vehicle, the Lucid Air, will be capable of reaching an EPA estimated range of 517 miles. This is achieved through miraculous redesigns when it comes to powertrain as well as energy density and battery packs. They're partnering with LG Chem, which is also a partner with Tesla, and they're also using 2170 battery cells, which are the same type of cells being used in the Model 3 and Model Y. If you think they are very similar looking to Tesla with their energy efficiency and their extreme aerodynamics, this is one of the best aerodynamic luxury vehicles on the planet. It's because a lot of their staff are former Tesla, so that kind of helps. For one, the CEO of the company is the former chief of design of the Tesla Model S and the person overseeing their production ramp at their facility in Arizona, which is under construction right now. Deliveries are expected to begin early next year, so within the next 5 to 6 months, we could actually see production models hitting city streets. Well, that guy overseeing the project is also the same guy who oversaw the Model 3 production ramp. So several people are ex-Tesla employees that are working at Lucid, but they're not publicly traded yet, so they're still a private company, and they have $1 billion plus worth of funding from Saudi Arabian investors because this is a luxury vehicle. And they've also talked about how they don't really see themselves as Tesla killers. They don't want to be labeled as a Tesla killer, despite having, it's kind of hard not to brag that you're going to have the best electric vehicle range on the market, and there's likely a good chance that for a while at least, the Lucid Air will be the best range in an EV you can buy, because while Tesla does have some products in the pipeline that are rumored to break the 500-mile mark, like the tri-motor Cybertruck, as well as the Tesla Roadster, which has been delayed several times, but it'll more than likely have a range well over 620 miles. Those aren't supposed to be coming until the end of next year, so Lucid might have a monopoly on the EV with a 500-mile range market based on their early testing they're doing currently. Now, the big mystery with this range that we don't know for sure is that Lucid has not exactly disclosed the size of the battery pack they're using to get that range, but they've talked a lot about how they've wanted to shrink the battery pack as much as possible to maximize interior space. They have some really cool luxurious seating options in the back that should let people basically lay all the way down. It looks like some first class like air travel transport, and the interior of the vehicle is very display oriented with adding a lot of functionality and features to touch display. There's going to be over-the-air updates. They've also bragged about how there's going to be like over 30 different sensors that help with driver assist features. So they got LiDAR, they've got tons of cameras, they got ultrasonic sensors, they got radar, all kinds of things that should make this vehicle very safe. So you'd think just by looking at them that this must be direct Model S competition, right? Because currently Tesla Model S is the best electric vehicle range you can get today. It's a more luxurious vehicle. It's over $75,000. It's got extreme performance that I'm sure the Lucid Air will be bumping up against. It can go over 200 miles per hour, but the 0 to 60 time is still reported to be around 2.5 seconds. So it sounds like Lucid wants to beat those early prototype numbers probably with their production model. So Lucid doesn't really see themselves as Tesla competitors, though. They want to be more compared to the Mercedes S-Class and more of a premium segment than the Model S even sits in, which is why, because we don't know the exact battery size of the vehicle, and Lucid has given us some rough numbers to work with, sounds like it could be somewhere between 120 kilowatt hours and 130 kilowatt hours in battery pack size, in which case the power efficiency is darn near spot on with the Model S, which is impressive because, for the longest time, when people are talking about Tesla, they talk about how the Model S still can't be beat despite it being like an 8-year-old car. Well, it sounds like Lucid Air is getting pretty dang close. It's more aerodynamic. Power efficiency could end up being just as good as the Model S, if not maybe a little bit better, in which case it really truly is amazing to see another company reach these numbers, especially if they're under the 130 kilowatt hour department, because having a range that beats the Model S is kind of impressive on paper, but not really that game changing if you just end up using a bigger battery. So if it ends up being that Lucid is rocking a 140 or 150 kilowatt hour battery pack, then that means they haven't really come up with a more power efficient vehicle. They've just kind of stuffed more batteries than the Model S can stuff, and therefore achieved a longer range. But hey, a milestone is a milestone nonetheless, and I'm all for good competition. I'm all for seeing more vehicles hit the road that are all electric and able to deliver better and better performance, better and better range. I guess the reason I have a hard time getting that excited for Lucid Lucid is because I feel like they're kind of tackling a very small piece of the market. You know, the $100,000 four-door sedan market is kind of a shrinking one. It's very saturated right now. And I guess to me, Lucid seems to be trying to prove a point that in a lot of people's minds has already been proven. We're kind of aware that electric cars can have great performance and great luxury features and have good range. Yeah, that's all possible, but I think most of us are all interested in, okay, how do you make it cheaper though? How can we make this the everyday car? How can we get electric cars to a point where they're cheaper than gas cars and outperforming them in every metric, which I'm sure in time Lucid will probably want to work on making cheaper models and more entry-level models, but it definitely sounds like they're going to be starting off with those high-end premium markets, which, you know, it's a market nonetheless, and it's cool to see more players enter it, but for sure, I think more of us are more curious in how can you replace the everyday car with an electric alternative, and that's why there's so much interest in the Cybertruck, the Model 3, the Model Y. Those are attention grabbers, whereas Lucid Air is just kind of flexing, in my opinion. But hey, flexing is okay in the electric automotive space. We need more companies proving that electric cars can do everything gas cars can and better. And the fact that this EV will be capable of driving further than a lot of gas cars on the road today says a lot about the technology, says a lot about the future. And I'm very excited to see the first deliveries for the Lucid Air begin in just 5 to 6 months. And for the record, I totally agree with what Lucid has said. I don't believe that they're Tesla killers. They're not Tesla competitors, really. I do, though, think if someone's in the $100,000 four-door all-electric sedan market, then sure, there's going to be some people competing between should I get the Model S, should I get the Lucid, but it's not a large percentage of the market that's going to be competing with those two. You know, Tesla could completely lose all sales of the Model S, and revenue-wise, they would probably be just fine, because the majority of their sales are, of course, the Model 3, the upcoming Model Y, and once the Cybertruck comes out, that's also going to dominate their numbers. So they're not really worried about the Model S getting direct competition, and if anything, the Lucid Air should just accelerate the development of the Tesla Roadster, because I'm sure Elon especially, and everyone at Tesla, is not going to be happy knowing the fact that they don't make the EV with the best range available. You know, hopefully the Model S Plaid is able to beat some of the Lucid Air specs, and hopefully they can put a bigger battery pack in that next generation Model S, which we should be seeing in just a few more months. Hopefully they can increase the range if possible, but I don't think that's going to be the main purpose of that vehicle. I just know that in the past, Tesla is pretty competitive. You know, they try to say like, no, we want to sell our parts out to everybody. We're all for everybody switching to electric. But once competitors start showing up and saying, hey, we can hit 400 miles or we can do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and Tesla's the first one to drop their Cybertruck with 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds and ours goes 500 miles, they get really, really competitive quickly. You know, when the Taycan was bragging about Nürburgring performance, Tesla was out there a week later with their prototype Model S being like, oh yeah, I think we beat it. I think we beat the Taycan. So I would love to see how Tesla counters the Lucid Air once it starts hitting the market, and hopefully that can result in a better product for all of us. So what do you guys think? Feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord. Let's chat more about Lucid over there. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent day. Take care.